Who are we? We are Southern Boating Supply. We are fishermen, boaters, and outdoor enthusiasts. We believe the best sunrises are seen from the front deck of a bass boat, and you haven't lived until you've watched it set over the Gulf of Mexico. We love paddling a kayak to unknown waters, hoping to get that one big bite in the skinny shallows, and breaking ice in a duck boat long before daylight, hoping to be rewarded with a strap full of mallards. We also believe in doing business the old school way, where a handshake means more than a contract and a man actually stands by his word. Where customers get put first in customer service, and where the word corporate will get you sent straight to the swear jar. Where quality matters over quantity, and priority number one is making sure that every single boater enjoys their precious time on the water. If that sounds like the way you see the world, you've arrived at the right place. Welcome to Southern Boating Supply, your anchor for quality boat parts. Damn these
Biloxi blues, it happens every night.
Every old night.
And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
Nope, have not.
Summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time. This highway does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care.
Nope.
Headed my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare.
Right to the hook right here.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low budget. Live, the not so live variety, and we are back. Definitely not so live after 2 lives in a row, and then a little old vacation. A little old vacation in the middle, you bunch of low-lifers. And if you're just tuning in for the first time and you're wondering what a low-lifer is, it's what you are. It's what you are. If you have joined this program for Monday, July the 8th, you're a low-lifer. So appreciate each and every one of you. Low-lifers, new and old. Yeah, man, we went hard in the paint there for a couple weeks. We had Duncan Butts episode 2, which was one of the funniest dang podcasts. If you haven't checked that out yet, go check it out. Trace Wendell, Kyle Patrick, Jonathan Collins, and the one and only Josh Butts, Duncan Butts, right there from Coleman, Alabama, before I left to go on vacation. And then I took a week off, which is rare, man. It's rare. Y'all know this. I try to do a podcast a week. That has been my deal for very many years now, and we're going into almost 7 years of this craziness overall. But I guess it's like late 2019 I started going every week. I don't know. I lose count of all of it, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be with the family. I'm not going to take all my podcast stuff down to the beach. We went and spent a week down there. Got started off with a bang. Let me tell you, the boys and I slipped off a day early from the rest of the crew, and we went to Panama City Beach, PCB, baby, and staying at the Hampton Inn down there. Got to tell this story. Because I'll post this video on my social. You can get a little bit of dose of this right now on my phone though, if I can find it. 1:30 a.m. This is Friday night. 1:30 a.m. Right. And buddy, I am. This place was pretty packed out, and I had taken our little electric side by side, the Silent Killer, down to the beach where we stay. It's very golf cart. Everybody cruising around on a golf cart, enjoying themselves. And so I take ours down there, so I don't have to rent one. It's dumb. I pull a trailer all over the country, right? And we took a couple kayaks for me and Ryder Man. And so, anyways, we're going to go fishing with my buddy Michael Coward on Saturday and go catch some redfish, go try to catch a tarpon in PCB down there. And we are we are welcomed on our vacation 1:30 a.m. We got, and I say all that, we got all this stuff in the back of the truck, and I was already kind of like, we're probably going to get some stuff stolen. There were some questionable characters hanging around Hampton Inn when we got there, and it's just summertime, dude. People are traveling. There's people everywhere, and I don't have a topper on my truck, so I got stuff in the back of the truck, got stuff on the trailer. So I was already kind of having a restless night. And at 1:30 a.m., I hear sirens, and okay, we're doing this. It sounds like those sirens ended up here, so I'm kind of like, in a fog a little bit, but not all the way out of it, and trying to doze back off, like maybe those sirens just came by. Well, then I hear like footsteps running down the hall right outside of our room, and you could hear like stuff jingling, which would turn out to be, ladies and gentlemen, lowlifers of all ages, handcuffs jingling, because it was police officers. I was like, damn, is the hotel on fire? And I hadn't called anybody. And again, this is, I've stayed at Hamptons, Hiltons, whatever, traveling for like 20 years. So I got all my points and all that crap. So we were staying for free. Use points, free, And I watched a guy when he checked. This is like a $320 a night hotel. Because when I post this on my Instagram stories, people were like, yeah, you stay at some really terrible places apparently. And no, this is not. I've stayed at this hotel many times. So it really wasn't that kind of deal. And dude, all of a sudden, the room right across from us, this is what we hear. I'm going to play you a little bit of this. This is me filming through a peephole, by the way.
Open the door, man. Open the door.
Right? You hear that? Filming through a peephole, by the way. And I got my kid. I got Hudson and Ryder there. I am kind of freaking out because you go into dad mode, right? I'm like, what? Like, what is happening? And I don't know why I felt the need to film. I always talk about the fact that that's the first thing we all do in society anymore is just pick up your phone instead of maybe ducking for cover. But I can't, like, they're trying to obviously get in this cat's room, and I have no idea. Nobody from the hotel's like called us. The cops hadn't knocked on a door. And dude, it's right there. So like, as I'm filming this through the people, like cops will get their backs against our door, and I can see a couple times they got their hands on their guns, and I'm like, all right, what's going on? So here we go. Back to it. So this is a crowd. Hudson wakes up. He's like, are they trying to get into our room?
No, minute's up. Come open the door. We're going to open it.
Hey, my man, open the door, buddy. Come on.
Okay, so this goes on for a while. Hey, my man, let us in. Then it goes to this, if I can find it. This is when they broke out the battering ram. Hold your ears. This shook our whole room. Real life. So if you want to hide from somebody, it turns out Hampton Indoors, super strong, because these police officers had a time getting in, dude. That video clip is like 8 minutes long total. And honestly, I was there by the door trying to see what the deal was because I had the kids, and I'm like, dude, do we need to like hide behind something? I don't know, man. And just all sorts of all over the place, I guess. And so finally they do break down, and you hear this dude screaming, and I'm not making light of this at all. Apparently he had attempted suicide. This was right across my room, and they got him out of there, got him some help. He was alive. He was screaming, which me and my kids heard. Very traumatic. The boys are like, "What the crap, Dad? Where have you brought us in life?" And yeah, they got him out of there. But then this goes on to like 4 a.m. It's like a crime scene. Then they're looking for this lady. and this is all just like they're just talking right outside our door. We get ready to leave at 5 a.m. to go fishing. Haven't slept, and we get up and this door is just flung wide open, blood everywhere. Everywhere. I have pictures of this. Shards of door everywhere. And I was just like kind of shook because I'm like, man, y'all got to have a damn protocol for this, I guess, in the Hilton world. I don't know. And I went to the desk and I was like, hey, you might want to just refund everybody on the second floor because that was crazy. Like, I know it's out of your control. And this girl looks right at me. She goes, like, yeah, it was out of our control. There's nothing we can do. I'm like, okay. But maybe just give everybody just like a mass text or a heads up that, hey, this is going on. Hey, this is not a dangerous situation to you, whatever. I don't know, man. I was a Karen about it a little bit because it was crazy. It was I've traveled this world. I turned 41 this week while we were at the beach. I have traveled this world for a long time and stayed many terrible hotels and good hotels. Never. This was a first. And I mean a hell of a start to vacation. Goodness gracious. But hope that gentleman's doing okay. That was crazy. I still can't wrap my head around it. But there you go. There's a little bit of how my vacation started, but went well after that. Appreciate the break. I had a lot of messages. I didn't get on social media much, but I have a lot of messages. People like, for real, dude, what the crap? Where's the podcast? And I appreciate y'all being patient with me, man. I'm not gonna always have 52 straight a year. We're gonna take some breaks in there every now and then, not much, but I appreciate the patience. And we're back this week. And this week, I'll go ahead and tell you, will be a solo episode because I had a video guest lined up. And honestly, I hadn't even set my stuff back up from Dunkin' Butts. Like, it's been busy at Southern Boating Supply once I got back from Coleman late. And then we left on vacation a couple of days later. But I just set everything back up this morning. And my Wi-Fi is down out here in the bar and grill. So no video interview. And I was kind of feeling a solo episode anyways, but I want to talk about a few things today that I got on my mind and appreciate y'all. But I got to say vacation though, just real quick, touch back on it. I'm having I turned 41 and y'all always hear me say the podcast is cathartic. So here you go. You get to listen this morning, but I turned 41 this past week and it's awesome to see people just in pure joy. And I don't think enough. What I mean by that is just having fun, not having to spend money necessarily to do it, even though, obviously it costs money to be at the beach or whatever. But we've gone 2 years in a row. It's one of our favorite places and down at St. George Island. And dude, it's just, like they have a 4th of July parade that is it's like the world's biggest water gun fight. And I probably talked about this last year too, because I came back feeling the same way last year, but it's like 2 miles of people in floats or trailers. We pulled a trailer. I was in the parade because I was not going to not be after seeing how much fun it was last year. But then there are people lining the roads with water guns, and everybody's got water guns on the trailers and trucks and golf carts and in boats and different things. And everybody it's a water gun fight for like an hour and a half through this little town. It's incredible, but nobody's mad. Nobody cares who you're voting for. Nobody cares who, nobody like what you believe. It's like pure joy. It is, and Harper, my daughter said, it is so cool to just watch people truly have fun and get along. And dude, that hit me so weird because we do get, I think anymore, we get to where we just don't get along, whether it's on social media arguing about damn bass fishing or, whatever the case is, politics, sports, whatever. And it is amazing to watch people from all walks of life just have just fun, unfiltered fun. It's really cool. It's really cool. So we really enjoyed that. And then we watched fireworks on the beach, or people shooting fireworks. There were fireworks shows all up and down the beach. And we just sat there in a chair for like a couple of hours, man, hanging out with folks we didn't know. Everybody's laughing, having a good time. But that is that is to me coming off of like this 4th of July holiday, which is America's, all about America in this country and what makes it great. That's America to me. And I know you probably experienced that whether you're at the beach, whether you're at home. I hope you got to. Man, that holiday always brings out, and that's why I'm grateful my birthday's right before July 3rd. But that holiday always brings out pure joy, I feel like, unless you're a dog. Dogs don't like it. Dogs hate the 4th. They do. God bless all the dogs that put up with the fireworks. I got some that hate them fireworks. I got some that ignore them, but I got some that hate it. Shout out to all the firework hating dogs. But it's like pure joy. It is like adults act like children. Children act like bigger children than they normally do. It's just an awesome holiday, and to get to spend it with my family at the beach at a place we love, it was great, man. It was awesome. So I'd like to see more of that, and that's what I mean by that. But real quick, also my buddy Michael Cowart, we went out tarpon fishing, went 0 for 4. I hooked my first tarpon over 100 pounds. Hudson did, as well as Wes. And our buddy Ron Groom went with us. And Ron hooked one, had it right to the boat, and came off. Those things are amazing. Bucket list experience. Holler at Michael Cowart if you're trying to shallowtails down in PCB if you're trying to catch a big redfish or big tarpon. He is the man down there in those parts. If you're going down there for vacation, look him up on social media. Good dude that is one of the best fishermen I've ever been around. Awesome. All right, so I say all that. I've been in my feels. Y'all can hear that because it's kind of been it's been a very emotional last few days, and I'll say why right now. So while we were at the beach and all that's going on, it's great. It's a good time. I found out I was actually on the water on my birthday, and I got a text that a dear friend of mine and a guy that we just had on the show not long ago, Bob Seeley, had passed away. And Bob was a guy that was larger than life. I met him back in like 2006. Working at one of his events, Big Bass Splash, and he became just immediately this legend in my life that whether if you needed a laugh, you needed life advice, business advice, he was just a guy you could turn to. And he and I had a lot of just one-on-one conversations over a cocktail. Bob most of the time with a cigarette, and he was an amazing man. And when I had him on the show with his son-in-law, Chris, after the cheating incident, it's been a few weeks ago now, but I felt like I knew he wasn't doing well. His daughter, Nicole's a dear friend of mine. His son, Tim, we've played music together. His wife, Donna, they're all very special people to me in my life. I've known them for very many years. Truly like family. People say that. They were, for a lot of years in my life, I was with them a lot. And through their events and in my job, and Bob actually called me his son for a lot of years there, and just fantastic people that built something amazing without being handed anything, without being, really being looked at as crazy almost, to hear his stories, 40 years of the Big Bass Splash, and they were the first Big Bass tournament. And he told a little bit of the story, and I'm so grateful, man, that he told some of the story on the show the day I had he and Chris on. But, their relationship with the Ronald McDonald House, he done $2.3 million or more to McDonald's. They paid out over $30 million over the years in payouts to where amateurs win like the pros, like this thing. And I've said that like my talk about my beach trip and the pure joy, I've seen pure joy in fishing at Bob's events so many times, whether it's the boat giveaway at the end where he would, do his games, and and draw this thing out. He's got a big crowd watching him, and dude, he's just this larger than life figure up there, holding everybody's attention and truly making people so happy, whether they want a boat or not. And I just saw this time and time and again, and just amazing. But he definitely taught me more than he ever realized in our time together. But what a lot of people don't know is the opportunities he gave me. And he gave the people very close to me. And what I mean by that is Bob and Nicole and Donna and crew, they had us out to the Big Bass Splash. When we were playing music, man, we were trying to make something of that for so many years. And they would have us out to play music at their festival. And dude, we got to play with folks like Blake Shelton, Chris Young, Josh Turner, big country artists, and meet these folks. And like Bob got and Nicole got Blake Shelton to take a demo from me one time when I was writing songs. It was real life. Like Blake Shelton and Blake was very, very nice about it. And like that's the kind of belief he had in me. And I would never be in a conversation with Bob where he was introducing me to someone that he wouldn't bring up what I did and what I was about. And you should check him out playing music. Or when this podcast going, you should check out the Low Budget Live podcast. Like, he's just always been that guy. Once he came into my life, and this one ain't easy. So God bless Bob Seeley, the Seeley family. Y'all keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Good people. Good people. All right. Rest in peace to a great one. Whew. That was harder to do than I thought it was going to be right there. Boys and girls. That was some upsetting news. He had a long battle, and I know he's better now. But those are good folks. All right, moving on. I don't know how I do that. I should have probably waited to the end of the podcast to completely break down. But I've been holding that one in for a couple days. Probably. I had some moments at the beach by myself with that one, but and I get real quick before I move on. The guy, like, it was crazy. The friends of mine, my brothers that played music with me for so many years, like Andy Abernathy and Kevin Reed, Aaron Moore, Jacob Reynolds, some of my dear friends in life that we ran the roads together for so long, all saw the news on Facebook, and they weren't around as Bob as much as I was, but it was so crazy. Just immediately when they heard it, my phone just they saw it on the news on Facebook, and they all just the things they had to say about him, and most of them weren't from our fishing world. They didn't give a damn about a bass, cared more about a bass guitar, and all their reactions were the same, and I just always hope, like, as I get older in life, that I can be as impactful on people's lives in a positive way as somebody like Bob. Like, I think at the end of all this, that's what matters the most. I think that's what should matter is, can you make a positive impact on people, whether it's providing a solution to a problem, whether it's like motivating them, whether it's truly bringing them, like I talked about in the opener, pure joy in some way. Like, if this is a welcome distraction to you every Monday, then I'm doing my job in life from whatever you got going And it's why I do everything I do, really to bring myself joy, to stay busy and work as hard as I can and experience as many different things as I can in life. But truly, man, like I want to try to have an impact. And I know at times I've had a negative impact on people's lives, and we all do on a daily basis at times. Nobody's perfect, but I think we should all strive to be someone that every day you try to impact people positively. That way, when you do leave this earth, people can tell stories about you like they're going to about Bob Seeley for a long, long time. The Big Bass King, man, the Big Bass King. And there's a big old hole out there at Sam Rayburn. Now, I'll just tell you, goodness gracious. And the mayor out there in Jasper might as well have been in my eyes. Goodness. All right. Moving on. We got Pickwick, NPFL at Pickwick this week, coming up right here at home. I got to go to Wisconsin to be in studio, a short 12 hours from home for a tournament that's an hour from the house. But very cool setup by the NPFL on this one, in my opinion. And they did this a little bit last time, but blast off is not till 10:30. Weigh in later in the afternoon, around 5, I believe, is when weigh-in's going to start. If you're in the area, go check it out. Go to the weigh-ins. But current flow, typically very important to whether you're fishing shallow or deep on the TVA chain. And in the afternoons, it is historically better. And they made this call when they were, hey, we're going to be here in July. Let's shake things up a bit and let's do this thing late. And so blast off at 10:30. And I looked at the weather forecast, man, the highs are going to be in the 80s. It's not going to be excruciating at all this week. They're getting a little reprieve from it, looks like. But very cool. And we're going to be live like 12 to 5, which is different for us. But Fat Cat and I, 12 to 5 Central Time this time. And y'all check it out. And the tournament dates have also been moved. There was a big local tournament on Saturday, so the NPFL made the call to do a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday event also, which I think is why I love a lot of the things that they do. They're very fluid, and they made that call. And so it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We will be live Thursday and Friday in the studio, and it's going to be fun. Fat Cat Newton and myself. This one's going to be interesting. I love Pickwick. Y'all know that. I talk about it ad nauseum, and there it is right over my shoulder. It's home to me. Always has been. I love it. And even though I haven't even been on it this year, other than do some ABT coverage, I've fished everywhere but there this year. This one's going to be interesting. The last time we were there, Brandon Perkins won. But you've got local hammers like a Michael Brewer in it as well. You've got a Joseph Webster that knows his way around Pickwick. You've got a Buddy Gross that's an Elite Series pro that has an FLW Tour win on Pickwick, obviously a TVA guy. And another just gaggle of dudes that know what's up. And you got the Zach Burgess and the Patrick Walters, and then you got the Timmy Reams, who top 10'd it last time. He's one of our most consistent anglers of all time in the NPFL. And so many other just absolute. Will Harkins, who's leading angler of the year. If you're not, I say it all the time, if you're not paying attention to NPFL, this is our third event of the year. There's a lot of cool storylines going on over there. Check us out this week. All right, something else I want y'all to check out. Check out southernboatingsupply.com real quick. Use code LBL10 at southernboatingsupply.com. Appreciate y'all's support. We are busy and having fun. Got to get back after it this week after being shut down for a week. But y'all go check it out. That is low-lifers only. Get that code. So I've seen y'all using it. I appreciate y'all. LBL10 at checkout saves you some cash there. We got our hook havens. We've got our new Southern Boating standards about to go up. We've got hats and shirts. We have some new merch coming very soon and a lot of really cool stuff. So southernboatingsupply.com. Be sure to follow us on social media as well. All right, this episode of Low Budget Live is brought to you by Fish Tips. Fish Tips, just the tip. That's all you need. That's all you need. Just get out there, get on fishtips.com, get you a little heads up on where you need to go and what you need to throw. And the people on there are experts at their bodies of water, at their techniques. Fishtips.com. You can use code LBL10 at fishtips.com to save money on your first tip. You maybe want to go with yourself, not with a guide, but you need a little guidance. Fishtips.com, just the tip. Gillfishing.com wants to give you a gift by using code LBLGIFT. Once you spend $100, you're going to get a gift. And right now, it is 25% off. 25% off of some of the best apparel in the game, best rain suits. Get you one of them floppy hats. Get you some sun gloves right now. 'Tis the season. Get you some shorts. Get on there. Check it out. Gillfishing.com. LBL Gift is where it is at. Pro Guide Batteries. ProGuideBatteries.com. LBL10 saves you money there on, in my opinion, the best batteries in the game. There are a lot of fly-by-night lithium battery companies. Pro Guide Batteries is not one of those. They've been in the battery game for many, many, many years. They are trusted by many, 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 many OEM boat manufacturers, and that's a huge stamp of approval. ProGuideBatteries.com. Use code LBL10. Get you some of them lithiums or get you some of those AGMs. Baitworks.com, bait-wrx.com, Duncan-10 for the win right there at baitworks.com. You can get the one and only LOB jig exclusively online at bait-works.com. Like in this little color right here, Hot Pocket. 3-aught trocar hook because they're the baddest in the game. A custom 3-aught trocar hook. Finer than frog hair skirt material. It's a fish catcher. It gets you lots of bites, but don't just take my word for it. Check it out there. And also check out all the other products they carry and use Duncan-10 to let them know you are a lowlifer. And last but not least, hang the banner, the imaginary banner right here over my shoulder. Express Boats, the Bassmaster Classic winning, all welded aluminum bass catching machine. Absolute beast, 96-inch beam, C-deck bow to stern, 250 Yamaha show pushing that X21 that I'm running, but you can get you an X19. You can get you an H20. How about an H18? How about an H17? Very affordable, fantastic rigs. Express Boats, building excitement since 1966. All right. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. I know I'm all over the place this week, but sometimes we got to do these episodes, these solo episodes. I enjoy them. I don't do them as much as I used to, I feel like. And I do enjoy them, even if they are a little somber with the news, what we received this week. But moving on, got to say, the Elite at Smith, I had this thing circled all year. Y'all have heard me talk about it. The Elite at Smith. It was the most intriguing scheduling. It was the most intriguing tournament. And I know the forward-facing sonar bitchers and whiners ate it alive on the internet, I'm sure. But to me, it was the coolest tournament they've had all year. Now, a lot of that is I'm a Smith Lake homer. I love Smith Lake. Fished Smith many times. I've never fished it in June because I'm not crazy. But it was there was not a guy that came across stage that weren't talking about how many bass they were catching. It was truly incredible how many fish they caught. I thought live was great when I got to watch. I thought the storylines were great. I love Taku. He is amazing. He is everything that is right with bass fishing. That pure joy, kind of the whole summary of this episode, but that pure joy, Taku is it. A 514 spot. Are you freaking kidding me? On the last day. Shout out to Rob G, though. Go Big Orange. Got my Vols National Championship shirt on right now. Rob G. I really thought Rob was going to win, man. And it's just not in the cards when a guy catches a 6-pound spot in June on the final day, obviously. And Taku had a fantastic event. But Rob G, shout out to our buddy Kyle Patrick on making a top 10. And I've got to say, Kyle owes me money. He owes me money, and he knows that. So, Kyle, don't be dodging me because you owe me $100. He called me after the first day, and he's like, I know that you're going to win this bet, but but the weights are higher than you thought they would be, right? And I've said, yes, but that's not what the bet was. The bet was you said it would be 14 pounds a day to be in 10th after 2 days, and I took the under, and that is the bet. So Kyle Patrick owes me $100. Some of you lowlifers have reached out to me about that. Kyle Patrick needs to be Venmoing me $100 because I'm trying to put some money back in the bank after spending it on vacation. So thank you, Kyle Patrick. You had some top 10 money. I will be needing, actually, I want it in cash. Just a single Benjamin mailed to the house, Kyle Patrick. But congrats on the top 10. I love Kyle Patrick. Y'all know that as well. It's like Taku. Kyle is infectious. He's a good dude. I saw he just had an episode of The Bilge come out as well with the Zaldanis, and I heard it got a little spicy. Y'all go check. I've not got a chance to check it out yet, but they were telling me that it was a fun one, and so was Kyle. They recorded a little bit back, but go check it out. Also, real quick before I move further into the Bassmaster Elite at Smith, thank y'all for all the kind words, man, on the Zaldane podcast. I really enjoyed doing that with them. They are real people. I've known those folks for a long time. I know who they are, what they're about, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the build. I'm very jealous of their setup. I told them this many times. They've got a really cool deal going with the show. I am jealous. I wish that I had a mobile studio or just a damn studio that nice. And a podcast that looked that good and sound that good. They got it going on. So appreciate them having me on. And I've had so many of y'all lowlifers reached out about that show. And I really do appreciate you taking the time and maybe hearing a little bit different side of my story than I get to tell on here a lot. You know, a lot of y'all know my story if you've listened for years and years and years, but I feel like a lot of people just see clips or just listen to the high points of the show and maybe don't realize everything that goes on. So I like those opportunities. I don't do many just because I talk a lot, every week on here. So I don't do a ton of other podcasts, but I was glad to do that one. And the in-person conversations are just so much easier. And we were definitely going to do another one. We've already talked about it. So appreciate the kind words on that. But back to this Bassmaster Elite. Taku winning was cool. You saw some topwater fishing. You saw Justin Hamner doing some really cool stuff. He's having an incredible year. You also had some drama. Been getting a lot of messages about this and some mama drama. That's what I'm going to call it, mama drama. Trey McKinney gets his weight DQ'd on day 2 after he was 7 minutes late. He had enough weight to be way up there in the tournament, was 7 minutes late, and then he came back in, was docked, and he said on stage he just lost track of time, blah, blah, blah. Well, then it comes out that his mom called him and said, hey, you're late, you should get up here, which is a huge no-no. You can't do it. And so his day 2 weight was then DQ'd, which then took him out of the Angler of the Year race. I'm just going to say this, because that's not the story on stage that he told, obviously, which is weird, right? I would be like, yeah, and then my mom called. But self-reporting, this is the second time with Trey, okay? Second time, he's young, he's going to make mistakes. Me and Derek Hudnall talked about it. This is the second time with Trey, though. It's not self-reporting if you've got to be told to self-report. Hear that with your ears, ladies and gentlemen. It's not self-reporting if you've got to be told you need to self-report the violation you committed, regardless of how big or little. It's not self-reporting. So before we put everybody on our shoulders and applaud, oh my goodness, he self-reported it. It's not self-reporting if you've got to be told to self-report. That is not self-reporting the violation. And that has happened both times in these situations. Now, is Trey a fantastic fisherman? Absolutely. Not trying to take anything away from that. Will this cost him Angler of the Year? Potentially. Has there been an enormous amount of chatter about a certain group of rookies this entire year on the Bassmaster Elite Series? Some of it deservedly so, and some of it not. Absolutely. Is there a lot of gray? Yeah. And here's the thing. This is the thing that I need all if you're like a casual fan that all you do is you listen to the stories told on stage, you listen to social media posts, you read press release and you read quotes, and you see finishes, and that's how you base your opinion, and that's fine, good for you. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and there's a lot of drama, and there's a lot of chatter, and there's a lot of stuff that's been floating around the Elite Series this year. A lot that you haven't heard. There's a lot of it that I've chosen, and we talked about this on the Bills, to not talk about. A lot of it, because it does seem like when Gerald made his video talking about the situation, it does seem that you're picking on the rookies, or you're doing this and I've talked about that on here. There have been rookies that have been treated unfair. There have been rookies that have been lumped into some of the garbage that the other rookies do, that has been unfair. There have been some broad stroke accusations about the rookie. There are some of these rookies, I've had them on the show, that are fantastic human beings. Okay? They're fantastic human beings, and they're doing things the right way by the book all the time. They do. There are some that are not. They're not. Period. End of story. It just is what it is. Now, that being said, and this doesn't make it right or wrong, the same could be said for every other bass fishing hero you've ever had in any tournament. Okay? There's always going to be some little bit of, I don't know. Where there's smoke, there's fire, usually. And ask me how I know, because I've seen it in person many times. I've seen it. I've got the damn receipts on a lot of it that I've seen and heard over the years. So, and so I just say that, like, everybody's capable of making mistakes. Everybody's human, obviously, but integrity is very important. It's in short supply sometimes when you're trying to be the big dog. Hear me again. Integrity is in short supply sometimes when you're trying to be the big dog. You forget things. And if you spin a big enough web sometimes, man, you can get stuck in it. And so I think some of these young guys got to be really careful in how they handle themselves going forward, because there have been a couple of very close calls on some crazy crap in the last few tournaments for a certain group of guys. And I just think they need to slow their roll a little bit. I do. Just my 2 cents worth there. I'm not, I don't like to see anybody get DQ'd. I'd like to have a fair fight out on the water to see who's the best of the year. But I don't think, in my opinion, and from things that have allegedly taken place, I don't think it's been a fair fight. I just don't. I don't think it's been a fair fight at all at times. So that's just my 2 cents worth. And integrity is slowly slipping away, and that's not good. That's not good. And just the sport of bass fishing, And I know you can take this argument, well, the forward-facing sonar does it and this and this and this. No, at the root of it, you still, like, be what you say you are all the time. First of all, is my thing. Like, if you proclaim to be one thing, be that, okay? And with that comes integrity and not bending or being in the gray areas and whatever, and just being okay with it all the time, it seems. Like, be better than that. Be better than that. But again, insert name of favorite fisherman that you think is Superman here over the years, and there's probably a lot of this that comes with it. And there's, I say probably, definitely some of this that comes with it at times. And again, some warranted, some unwarranted, but some of this stuff is just, damn, man, just blatant stupidity. And again, young, dumb and cocky sometimes even. And I just think everybody's got to pump the brakes a little bit, and let's get back to trying to find some integrity and doing things the right way. So it is what it is. until I will say this though, and this is a bigger issue with all the leagues over the years, and I've said this many times, we cover up the things we should cover. But I think that we like heroes, right? We like Superman. We like the Easter Bunny. We like Santa Claus. And I say all the time, the Easter Bunny and Santa ain't real. Sorry if your kids are watching. And if you believe everything that you read in a press release, or if you believe everything that you see on TV, then you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. Sometimes they say don't meet your heroes. That's the kind of scenarios you have a lot of times. And look, that's every sport, because it just is what it is. And this is the one I'm closest to. So I can tell you for a fact that it does not always go like you think it's going. When you're like, look at them young men, they're so amazing stand-up citizens, and y'all are just old and jealous, ! Maybe don't type that because you're wrong. I mean, it's absurd. But anyways, there is, you could write a book. I'll say this. You could write a book about this season on the Elite Series with the crap that's been, and same from the Opens and leading up to this as well. You could write a book on how things have progressed and got here. And to be honest, more days than not, I just choose not to talk about it because of that guy on Facebook that is, you're just jealous because I catch a fish! ! From his mom's basement. Because that is what it's like. A lot of the negativity that Gerald got, who is legitimately one of the best humans that I know, for telling his side of the story. He felt the need to tell it. And a lot of people were on his side, but the number of people are like, well, you're old, you need to retire, you've never done blah, 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 instead of just looking at a stat line. But the problem we have in this country a lot of times is that's where the argument goes, is just immediately on the attack instead of hearing what could be facts that you probably should like weigh all of it out and then make your own decision. But instead it is, and look, the same could be said for Gerald's video, people just immediately jumping on Trey McKinney too. Okay. To be fair. And I've told Gerald this, the same can be said for that also, but I'm just saying the truth's normally somewhere in the middle of that from what you're actually told a lot of times. Interesting times. So will Justin Hamner win Angler of the Year and the Classic in the same year? That's the storyline now with a couple events to go. He damn sure deserves it. He's working his ass off, and he is, he's a beast. Justin Hamner is a beast, and will his role be stopped? I think Trey slid down to third place now, and is it Justin Hamner's to lose? We shall see. All right, it's all over the place episode. I will say that. I had a lot to catch. Man, you sit me down for over a week. I got a lot to talk about. So, again, thoughts and prayers to the Seeley family. Again, please watch us on NPFL Pickwick this week, and go check out southernboatingsupply.com and get yourself something nice. Also, before I close this out, I got to say a very happy birthday. It's July the 11th, but as you're listening to this, it's the 8th. July 11th, my beautiful bride. It is her 21st birthday. So, love you, Marissa. I'll be in Wisconsin in studio for her birthday. I'm never home on her birthday. It's either iCast or something going on, but I will be out of town. So I will have to shower her with many gifts as you're listening to this. All right. Appreciate y'all. Going to take y'all out with some Biloxi Blues, and I will see y'all next week. Damn, that was loud. See ya.
I never could make it last. Spanish moss, a Civil War ghost. Well, I'm gonna leave them in the past. Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter, east or west. North, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name, and I don't care, no, I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a See, getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.